This is just some observations about a couple of sports and the physicality of it. And here we go. In basketball, it is actually more physical than you think in terms of people like body checking each other and various hits between the players. And I guess if the officials really called every contact in basketball, you know, things would be such at a slow pace. You just can't call everything. And probably there's a lot of calls in basketball that should be fouls, but, you know, just don't get called. Actually, basketball, you wouldn't think it is a full contact sport, but it really is. And here's a kind of actually different is baseball. It's not a full contact sport with one exception. And I'll get to that in a minute, because in baseball, when you look at it, every player is kind of in their own world. They're not connected with each other. You got the outfielders alone. You got the infielders alone. There's no real physical contact between the players and even the players and the hitters and the runners. But the only real physical contact in a sport that really has no physical contact is plays at the plate. Let's say when a guy's sliding into home plate and he crashes into the catcher crashes into the runner, trying to prevent him from hitting home plate. And even the pitcher might get involved as backup in terms of the physicality of the sport. Let's say the catcher's out of position, the guy's running home, and then the pitcher covers home plate, and then so there might be something physical there. But that's just a little weird exception in baseball, that there's no real physical contact overall, except when it comes to plays at the plate. Then it becomes more like a hockey game. And transitioning that from baseball to hockey, hockey is really a full contact sport with one exception. All the players like hitting each other and body checking, except for the goalie. He really doesn't body check or really get involved physically with the hockey players on the other team. And even when the players on the other team are shooting right by the goal, there is never really full-on contact between the goalie and the player from the other team. You know, it's very rare, because for the most part, it's not a contact sport in hockey with the goalie. Isn't that an interesting transition, though? Baseball, there's no real contact going on between the sides, except at home plate, where they're trying to score. But in hockey, there's full body contact everywhere, except for the goalie and the other player, really, who's trying to score. So, you know, just that little observation. And then we talk about football. Even football is like basketball in that there's full contact everywhere. Even the kicker might get involved depending on the play if there's an interception. And the same thing with the quarterback if there's an interception. So it really is a full contact sport. Kind of like basketball. Without those like weird exceptions I mentioned, like baseball has and hockey. So football really is like a full contact sport like basketball. And not like baseball and hockey with those weird exceptions I mentioned. And then you look at tennis. Tennis is a very isolated sport, and even lonely in a way, because you got the net between the two opposing players, and the players, there's no physicality there. One player is in their own world, and the other player is in their own world, and they're hitting a ball back and forth, but there's no real physicality or interaction between the two players. In fact, if the two players in tennis don't even want to shake hands, there would be no body contact at all between those two sides. And then you look at golf, a very lonely and boring sport to watch. It might be pretty cool to participate, but you just hit a ball with a club. The other player does the same thing. You travel in a cart going around places, hit the ball again, he hits the ball again, all to get it into the cup. It's very isolated. It's not really a physicality between players interacting at a physical level. It's like each player is in their own world and really doesn't have to physically contact the other player at all. So that's my observations about a couple of sports. And I guess the physical contact of it and how, you know, it's just what is the physical interaction in these major sports. And that's just something I noticed when I was thinking about it. Comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching.